off this morning and being distracted and letting myself be distracted. Looking at these creative ideas on these shorts, on these YouTube shorts. All these creative ideas, like the things you can do with freaking cardboard. It's amazing. I mean, it's freaking amazing. Okay? All the shit you can do with cardboard. And it's pretty much free because cardboard is every freaking where. It's anyway, I hope y'all have been allowing y'allself to just be distracted and enjoying it and that shit's crazy. I like watching that miniature shit where they make all that miniature furniture and that shit is so cool. I'm talking about the teeny tiny shit. So put it this way: a foot in regular scale is 1 inch. Hold on, let me see. Oh, I'm getting some kind of... Okay. Okay, I'll have to reply to that in a little while. Okay, but anyway, a whole foot in human scale, in regular size, is 1 inch. So think about this, okay? Okay, see this little clip right here? This mug would be like the whole clip now, the whole entire clip with the details and everything, would be so damn microscopic tiny. But then people seem to be able to do it and make it work and everything with the spring and the whole thing, man. It's so freaking crazy. Look, I got some kind of fascination with miniatures. Okay, I don't know. Maybe I could descend from a descendant of giants. I don't fucking know. Okay, but I have this thing about miniatures. I love them. Okay, I'm just kidding about the giant thing, but I mean, but I've always had, really, I have kind of always had this thought about, like, always, man. I'm sure all of y'all can probably resonate too. Okay, I would be like thinking, how do ants, like, how do they perceive us? Like, how do they perceive? Do they even think we exist? Do they even know we exist? An ant? I mean, just think about this, okay? Like, if a giant foot was right beside you, would you know that it was connected to this body? To this whole giant? If you was that little. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I've always had that second thought. I'm not going to say an afterthought. I'm going to say it, that second thought of, who's to say that there ain't giants all around us right now? I mean, will we even know it? Will we even recognize it? Like, that's crazy. How would an ant perceive you as a human? Like, that's a good book right there. Maybe somebody will write a book about ant and human. The Iron Giant, I don't know. Iron Giant's a whole different thing. That's a whole different thing. That's about AIs. Just think how old that movie is. Y'all remember being brought up on that, being conditioned already that young? That's crazy, ain't it? Just to even think about that. But that's what I've been doing this morning. I've been just letting myself pretty much just be, I don't know. I've been looking at creative shit. I like it, okay? I've been watching this dude take this cardboard and shit, and he'll cut it out, and then he'll just like put this with spray paint, barely like that, and this shit comes out to be a fucking masterpiece. And you're like, whoa, like, he made these bubbles last night. He had these he had just one circle in a square about that big, with a circle, perfect circle in the middle of it. He held it up against, well, first he went on the canvas. He said, just a little black, like that. Then he held that thing up right above that little black. He held it up like that, and he sprayed like light blue, and then put like just a speck of white Then the bottom like that. Psh, psh. Just put it, psh, just a speck of white, okay? And then, dog, if he didn't do this, he come back and he said, and like that, and just put a tiny dot of black on that white. Took it back. That shit looked like a floating fucking bubble on that canvas. I mean, that shit looked like a floating bubble. It was so crazy, okay? And then he put them like all over it. It was so cool, man. It was so cool. And he kind of done the same thing with these hearts that he made for his daughter's room. He put them on a pink canvas, and he had made 2 circles, and then like just cut it to the tip, to the end there, and spray painted like he went like red, orange, yellow, green, you know, like that around the edge, but not in the middle. And the after spray kind of went into the middle, but not fully. Man, that shit looked like floating hearts all over that thing. It was really beautiful. It looked like bubbles of hearts. It was so cool, man. I get into that kind of shit. These people's making these miniature damn portraits. It amazes me to see people that can like carve choo-choo trains out of the lead in a pencil. You know what I'm saying? That kind of shit amazes me. I'm like, how the fuck? Like, what? But, let me back up just a teeny tiny bit. This morning when I woke up, don't ask me why, I'm real triggered by the reset of the 1920s. Okay? The Cabbage Patch Kids, the orphan trains, these kids were being made inside these incubators and then sold like commodities. And all these pictures of all these ginormous buildings and beautiful landscapes of these buildings that are just massive with 2 people in the photo. Huh? Like only 2 people? I guess to show the scale of how massive these buildings are and how and they're trying to say that these people built when they're buying babies from incubator made, like what? Like, hold on, you know. But they was also saying this, okay, I was being triggered so much about it. They was saying how, like there's no explanation, there's like no explanation to where all these babies came from. Okay? Besides that they created them. Okay, and then it takes me back to like, I started thinking, it was triggering me about my granddad. My granddad, my mom's dad. Now, I have racked my brain and racked my brain and racked my brain and racked my brain, racked my brain and racked my brain. Now, my grandma was alive while I was alive. Well, I mean, like, she was alive during my life. There's one out of, okay, now this was the love of my grandma's life. My mama, my aunt, and my uncle's dad. And I can only recall one picture of him. He's standing with my grandma beside a car. There's no other pictures. I mean, this was their dad, their husband, their no pictures, none. And recalling stuff like, I mean, like, where did he come from? I recall them talking about him somehow or another had a name change or something, that he don't know his real birthday. He celebrated 2 birthdays because he didn't know his real birthday. The man disappeared out of my mom's life when she was 10. Then I 2 years ago find out that I find a certificate. Now, of all my years, never seen this shit before. Found a certificate in the photos. Now, how many times I go look at... I used to go just bury myself in those... My mama had a stack of photo books. You know, photo albums. Okay, and one picture of him. Out of all the people, like, I stayed at Aunt Arlene's. I stayed over there like every weekend and shit and played, their kids. And, we went to my grandma's for like a month of the summer, every summer. Not a single picture of this man. I mean, it just kind of makes you wonder. You know what I'm saying? Like, did he... I don't know. Was he some kind of undercover or something? I mean, all that stuff kind of makes me really, 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 really kind of... I don't know, it's triggering me. Okay? If y'all can resonate with that, or y'all have some kind of similar story about, like, your grandparent, that it's just a complete mystery. Even though you ask questions, there's never, like, any answer to it. You're like, huh? Like, why can't you just, like, because they don't know. They don't know. It's strange. Why don't they know? I mean, like, why don't they know? Why was it like, was it erased out of their brains? I mean, what the fuck? Only one story about him at all is about his death. In all of my whole history of my life, one story about him is about his death, and that's the story that my mama was told. That he was one of those people that put the shellacker on the floors, because there was lots of wooden floors back then. He put shellacker on the floors, okay? And he smoked cigarettes and drank, but he did one floor in that room, and he went in another room to take a break or whatever, smoked a cigarette, and that cigarette supposedly rolled over to the shellac, caught on fire, and burned him up in a house fire in a completely empty house. And I wouldn't have no memory of none of this because he died when my mom was 12. And then it starts hitting me. All these famous people have their accidental deaths and all this. And then they come out and be somebody else later on. They're somebody else. That stuff blows my fucking mind. Because you can see it, obviously, like the Erica Kirk case. She's the same woman as Madam X. That shit, I mean, it's some kind of, there's some type of connection there that I'm telling y'all. Okay? And the Bush thing, the Bush Senior thing, I told y'all about the thing where I'm kind of chilly, y'all. I'm kind of shivering, so hold on, let me shut my door. Because it's kind of cold. I just had it open for the fresh morning dew. Hey, birdie birdies, hey, birdie birdie. Hey, birdie birdies. Anyhow, so the Bush thing, the Bush Senior thing, I told y'all how he was over the Secret Service or whatever. He was over that for a long time, okay? A long time. And he donated his sperm to create, I'm not talking about the thousands, I'm talking about like billions. To create these like super soldiers that they could control from the get-go, from the DNA, okay? Okay, so George Bush Sr. is the one that done that. Okay, now, understand these Bushes come from a long line of experimentation, and because Bush Sr.'s granddad was the angel of Hitler. He's the one that came up with making the perfect Jew, whatever, Russian, the Aryans. He came up with connecting the DNA of all that to make the blonde hair, blue-eyed, tall, athletic, fucking power force that's unbelievable. Okay, that was Bush's granddad. And then he become over all of our like military shit. He donated all his sperm for these experiments of this DNA process. Okay, so there's not only in just America, okay, there's Japanese Bush, and there's and there's, you know, Russian bush, and there's Vietnamese bush, and there's African bush, and he's planted all over this world. Supercells, he's planted all over this world. This was a real thing. Please go look that up. That he donated all his sperm and stuff for this agenda. Okay? Now, his granddad was already very much into this hybrid biotech, hybrid. Now, okay, so I see this and I see that. That leads to another place, right? And then we go to this thing where in the 20s, when they had them incubators, and people was going to those big work fairs and shit, you could pre-order your child, your pre-made baby. You could pre-order it to be a girl or a boy, to have blonde hair or black hair, or you could pre-order these things. Okay? Now, they're babies, but that part is just like it's been whited out. This shit is obviously all over the world. There's postcards talking about babies for sale. This one don't cry. This one's sweet. This one don't pee the bed. This one's a hard worker. This one will gather your wheat or what the fuck ever, okay? All of this. The very first movie, motion picture movie, the first one, when I say the first one, I mean it's the first movie ever made, is about the Cabbage Patch and Madam X with the Cabbage Patch. And that's way prior to Erica Kirk becoming Madam X over Florida, and when she was married to the governor, Claude Kirk. And then now all of a sudden she's over the turning point of the children of... Okay, I know it's mind-blowing, but does it connect? Does it connect for y'all? Are y'all understanding what I'm saying to y'all? Okay. The very first movie motion picture ever made, she made 3 of them. I believe they was 8 minutes long. Could have been. She's popping out these babies out of these fucking cabbages and throwing them on the ground, dancing around, throwing these babies on the ground and splaying them like, this is how agile they are. And then, I mean, like, then she's like, buy my babies. They're the best. They're the best. Look what you can do with them. I mean, she's pretty much doing that shit in this fucking movie. No lie, okay? This very first movie ever made in existence. And her name was Madam X. Why would Erica Kirk of Florida of the 1960s be called Madam X? Why would her name be motherfucking called Madam X? Okay, if that's affiliated with these children. I mean, these children were even displayed in grocery stores. You understand me? Like, they was produce. I mean, for real, y'all. Like, they was eating babies then, too. And some of them they would take on as, like, workers. And some of them they would just raise up and see how good they could make them. And see, like they was molding something. Like, you know what I'm saying? They would just raise these babies up to see how they can mold them. Like, oh, I'm going to make this one prestigious, and I'm going to make this one a mark of society of, you know, elegance and grace and that and that and that. Okay? Do you understand what I'm saying to you? This is what they did. Like, it was a huge experiment. But there was always... Now, okay, where did the people come from that was purchasing these babies? Where was they at? Like, where did they come from? Because they are supposedly real DNA humans, I guess. I don't know. They acted like they'd never seen a damn baby before in their life. They was like, what the fuck is that? You understand? It's crazy. But it all links back to right now. Madam X, Erica Kirk, the 1970s Erica Kirk, the 1960s Erica Kirk, then to to Erica Kirk, a turning point that's killed the Captain Man that was shown to be like a martyr or what have you, that built this organization around these children. It's all around these children. Everything's around these children. And if I've listened to that man since he's whatever, the whole lie, I've listened to some of the things he's had to say, okay? And he's full of shit. Plain and simple. I don't give a shit. He's full of shit. Like, period. Okay? He just has a way of saying it. Period. Now, somehow all of this is linking together, okay? Because I just let myself just kind of be... I was watching shit, creative shit this morning and that and all that. And because, I don't know, it just led me... It led me to this connection of fucking Erica Kirk being Madam X from the movie back in fucking the 20s. Or whatever the fuck it was. Has anybody else made this connection? I'm just saying that she looks the same as the same fucking person all the way through time. Eyes, smile, the whole fucking thing. Just a different hairdo. I don't know. And the fucking shit with the Bushes and how their whole family is linked to building these fucking people. Specific people. A specific race of people. The Bush family is linked to building these fucking Aryan people. All throughout time. All throughout. Manipulating DNA. Creating babies the way you want it to be. You think that's a new thing? Hell no. They was doing that back in the incubator days on the World Fairs and shit. Why do we feel like, okay, sometimes I'll go like, how the fuck did they get that picture if a camera wasn't made till, how did they get these pictures? Who the fuck was that far back to get that big aerial fucking view of that picture? I just fucking wonder. Like, how the fuck did they get that picture of that town or that city? Shows the whole motherfucking city back in, 1870 or whatever the fuck. How the hell they get that picture up from the sky? Like a sky view. You trying to make me think that they was standing on a mountain or something in every single state? They was standing on the top of a huge mountain looking at the city, at the entire city, because damn near, these pictures are massive. Like, you can't even do that with your telephone today. You can't even, hardly get an entire fucking building, an entire building in the frame to take the picture. But you could back then. It's kind of, and we're being led to believe these motherfuckers was covering up with a little closet with some fucking, yeah, right, okay, what? And these people are like, not a single soul smiled and not a single picture throughout that era. And then the era prior to that, you only seen these people about that big. You didn't even, all you seen little shapes. Hell, them motherfuckers could have been like misshapen. We don't know. Because they was only like that big in the picture of a building this about that big in the picture. And these people are like that fucking tall walking on the damn maybe 3 with their carriage on the other side of the road. But little did they show in any of these photos the massive amounts of shit and piss that was thrown out in the road and the streets, that was thrown out in buckets out of the windows, but that wasn't shown all over these pictures. These fucking places looked immaculate, like the yellow brick road. I'm talking about the edges of the fucking road. You can see the curves, the bricks, the cobblestones and the bricks. Smooth, all clean. Y'all tell me, okay? I mean, I know that y'all relate to what I'm saying. You got to, okay? What about Zeppelins? Zeppelins floating all over the fucking skies. Can you imagine right now these huge ass fucking Zeppelins floating all over the fucking skies? Okay, now that was happening rampantly in Russia and Germany. I mean, they was every fucking where. As far as the pictures depict, there was fucking just massive amounts of fucking Zeppelins in the sky. The only Zeppelin I ever remember, ever in my entirety of my life, seeing in the sky was the Goodyear blimp that used to float over the fucking Super Bowl and over games, over like baseball games and that. So what? There must be some type of antenna or something there that'll charge that Zeppelin, that Goodyear blimp. These Zeppelins are blimps. Okay? And then why was Led Zeppelin named Led Zeppelin? Because there's context there. There's context to that too. You understand what I'm saying to you? Led Zeppelin. Because stuff has to be spoken to the truth, out into the reality. The truth has to be spoke out to, because it's part of the ritual or what have you, for them to receive any type of whatever. Okay, so they're led, supposedly, every single one of them tell you that the devil told them that they had to do something this certain way. They don't know how they even wrote these songs, that they just woke up and the song was there, the pen was in their hand, and they was like, whoa. Okay, most of them will tell you that. Okay, that they made a deal with the devil, and the devil makes them like create these names like Led Zeppelin and freaking Ozzy Osbourne even. Okay, create these names, Nirvana. I'm just saying. Okay, the deal they make is before that fame. Okay, so they're told you, okay, this is da. See, just understand that part of it, okay? Now, something about Madam X with the Erica Kirk thing. Something about Madam X going down the line. Then Trump is related, like connected with also Elon. And Elon, what? Elon does so much stuff. He names it all motherfucking X, down to his child. Everything. Every single thing. So then we connect what? That, okay, Elon is very highly connected to Tesla. Tesla is connected to creating the fucking time machine and electricity and the connection to electricity and us and the earth and the ground. And then, so, and Bush's dad or uncle was the one that got Tesla's information, got his belongings and his trunks and such. And okay, there's a book about Trump and his kid being in time machine, and Madam X comes from the very first fucking film ever made. She making Cabbage Patch, showing how durable they are. I mean, does that not look like a connection to y'all? I mean, there's something there. But why? I mean, like, The reset shit is it has to be a real thing. But what was going on prior to the reset that was so fucking major? What did idiocracy happen? Idiocracy happen after that last reset? Did it make all the people like mutiny dumb, like, and then they had to like read, like kind of teach them from that to what we are right now, to where we are right now. Because it almost seems that way. These people act like they ain't never seen a baby. I'm serious. Where the fuck they think they come from? And it really reminded me much of that movie, Idiocracy. Is that what's about to happen here? What, are we getting dumber and dumber at each reset? What the fuck? Seriously. Y'all, if anybody relates to that or understands what I'm even talking about, yeah, because this is something that I mean, if I feel like that that it's somehow connected to like my generation's, even as close as 2 generations prior to my generation, even as close as that, possibly three generations, because there's no talk of no kind of grandparent of like my mom. My mom didn't have no grandparents, apparently. She never spoke of them. Neither one of them. None of them. There would be 4 maybe, I don't know. She never talked about them. There was no talk about that. There was no pictures, no kind of holiday memories, nothing. It's just too fucking odd. There's a connection, y'all. I'm telling y'all, it's just too odd. Too odd. My grandma was with an American Indian chief prior to being with my granddad, my mom's dad. She was married to this American Indian chief. She was in the tribe. She was, I'm telling you, my grandma was. She come from like Swedish Irish type background because she's worse. Okay. But she was married to this chief. They didn't have a last name. Okay. So after my uncle was born, he only had a first name and a middle name. Okay. And something to do with the tribe. But he had to have a legal last name. My grandma marries my granddad. This is odd now, because his last name wasn't the same last name that he was born with. Because there was a birth certificate that was floating around. It's very odd. That's kind of a mystery area right there. Okay? But he ended up adopting my uncle when my uncle was like 6 months old. My grandma's in this, I understand this now. My grandma was in this Indian tribe. She was married to the chief. This is for reals, okay? She meets my mom's dad. He adopts my uncle at like 6 months old. Gives him his last name. Okay? Then they have a child that my aunt and my uncle are 2 years apart. Okay? And then, oh wait, back up. They immediately get pregnant. She has miscarriage with twins. Then my aunt's born a year later. So they're only 2 years apart. This is craziness, okay? Anyway, so then a few like I don't know, very shortly after that, my mom gets born, and she's got a they called them blue babies. It was very common, something to do with their heart, and they had to like get it pumping again or something like that. But she wasn't dead. She wasn't born dead. She was a blue baby. That was very common. What, little Smurfs? I don't fucking know. That was a common thing. Okay, and let me tell you something else that was very common around that same era of the 50s, like 50 to 55, 56. There's a common thing of most of all the men were born premature. Like most all of the men were born premature. Back around that, like born as big as to fit in your hand right here. On everything, y'all, these babies could fit in a matchbox. Don't that kind of make, I mean, all of that. Everything was very military, militant during those times. Back in the late 20s, my grandma told me that the soldiers or the governor or something, they came around and collected everybody's family gold. Come around and collected all this family gold so they could put it on the Georgia State Capitol. What? And so everybody has a share. Everybody got this certificate or this whatever, and they have a share, or they're shareholders of the gold in the state capitol that's put on the Georgia State Capitol. That's supposed to be gold, but it ain't gold no more, apparently. Gold plated or something. I don't fucking know. It used to be gold colored. It was gold colored. Now it looks kind of copperish. But it was gold colored back when I was a kid, for sure. It was golden. But she said that they come and they collected everybody's gold and brass. Everybody's. From everybody's house. She remembers it distinctively. Because back then it was a big thing to have like silverware heirlooms and stuff like that. Like gold and silverware heirlooms and shit. They took them. And that's what, and Grandma would ponder that kind of shit. She'd be like, you know, like, she's like, I don't remember much. She would kind of ponder that shit. And she was like, I don't remember her ever talking too much about her mom and dad. If she did, she talked more about her mom. Because my grandma had 7 sisters. No brothers. As far as I remember, she didn't have no brothers. She had 7 sisters. And she would ponder those days, and she would be like, she would say stuff like her mom came from money or something, okay? And then she would say that she remembers them coming into their house. Can you imagine this house would have to be, okay, size for 7 girls to live in. But, you know, there was never no pictures of none of this shit. Like, what happened to all the pictures? Are they locked away in some kind of attic somewhere? What the fuck? There's never any pictures ever in any of these cases. None of them. You would think that there would be some picture or, I don't know. It's just all very strange. Like, how come it leads to just a big question mark when it gets around that era, age? But you know, back in that era, now understand this, okay? Y'all gotta understand this too. For some reason, hallucinogenics and shit have always been like I don't know, a treatment for everything all throughout history. I mean, it's crazy. What the fuck? It's all like, it's just all so crazy. Because it's almost like overwhelming to get all this information just. Okay. I just don't. We went from them. So stuff don't connect to me, okay? It just don't. These people have these massive, like, okay, we'll say in the Egyptian times. Wait, it was even right after the Egyptian times. What was right after the Egyptian times? What was right directly after the Egyptian times? The Romans. Okay, well, guess what the Romans used to do? The Romans used to use pee to wash their clothes. Like, they used pee to wash their clothes. What? They all took baths together in one big, huge bathtub. I mean, like, but yet, had these, like, extensive works of art all throughout their castles, and I don't know, y'all. I don't know where it's all going with that. I don't know, maybe opening your minds to these things, because it all is connected. It's just so crazy how plainly. But what? Why? Why leave us in? Why leave us in all these questions? Why not just tell us the answers to all of this? And what is the point in all of it, if that is the case? Because there's definitely got to be something to that firmament thing that God said He placed over this earth. Definitely. You can how can you explain the how the moon appears on each side of that? It appears like opposite, like turned around. Because it's through like a lens. Is that God's lens? Is that his contact lens? Reflected so we can see it. Let's see through the eyes of God. Ooh, He's looking at the universe. He's looking straight at the universe. He's got blue and green eyes, y'all. Color of the earth. He's looking out at the universe. He's seeing all these freaking choices and ideas. Because ain't that what He says to tell you? That there's choices and ideas and anything's possible. That it's just lingering right there above our heads. All we need to do is just jump high enough and they'll just land right in our brains. Taking a leap, you know. What was His purpose in stopping the stairway, the Babylon stairway? What was His purpose in stopping that, but allows 100-foot skyscrapers? And there's something just, and His purpose so much in stopping that it was even depicted and wrote down in the Bible, that it was even, documented to be presented to us in the Bible, that He stopped that. He put a stop to that. And then changed everybody's language where they couldn't communicate with each other no more. Like, does that not make you question a little tiny bit? Like, whoa, He don't want us to communicate with each other? Was that Him? Like, but then there was a time when he made where everybody could understand each other, where everybody could understand the words coming out of everybody else's mouths, and they were like astonished by it. It's just, I don't know, man. I don't know. Question everything. Question everything, collective. I'm just saying. Because those players in that game, they're all the fucking same from the beginning of time, damn near. And all these fucking movie stars and shit are fallen angels. They want worship. They crave it. They crave that worship. You know, it's not even about money to none of them. Because none of them get paid anything. You might hear them say they got $100,000 or $300 million for this film or whatever. Oh, we paid them $300 million for this film. No, you didn't. That's just something that they tell all of us. Because them actors and stuff, they don't get no money. They don't get paid money. They get paid like a car, houses, clothes, are supplied. But they don't get paid money. Because they don't, you know, have you ever recognized that when they go into stores and stuff, they don't pay for nothing? They don't have no idea how much even a jug of milk is. Like it just... Now, mind you, there are actors and stuff out there. There are. But they don't reach that level. They don't get to. But these elite ones are most of them were child stars. To be honest with you, you just don't recognize them from being a child when they was a child star. Because maybe you was too little to remember them being a child star. But they were all groomed through it to be that elite. Say like Angelina Jolie, for sure. Jennifer Aniston, for sure. Come from these elite families. Okay. If you really go back, even look at Secret Births. I mean, even Jamie Lee Curtis, she comes from elite. Okay, her mom and dad is Tony Curtis and Janet Leigh. Okay? I mean, all of them come from, somehow or another, stem from another. All of them. I wouldn't be surprised if, what's her face, Steven Tyler's daughter, you know, she was raised by a famous musician that she thought was her dad the whole time. I wouldn't be surprised if she's not a hybrid of them two, and the mom was just a carrier, because that shit was, all that experimental shit was really rampant in that time frame when everybody was high on LSD and doing drugs and orgies and all. I mean, it was just, I'm just saying, look at all the experimental MK Ultra programs, MK Ultra programs, Gateway program. Oh, by the way, y'all, if you listen to that, the little thing that they used to play through the thing, that's George Bush Sr. talking on the things. That's George Bush Sr. talking through them things to you when you was a kid. Go back and listen to it. Go find it. Go some kind of nostalgia on YouTube about the Gateway program and the recording. And if you listen to it, it's flat him perfectly. Anyway, I'm sorry, y'all. I don't know why. I'm not sorry. I'm not. I really wanted to talk about these things because there's some kind of connection to not knowing that history. because you know we've talked about this through the cards, okay, and there's got to be some type of breakthrough about it, because most people would know stuff about their grandparents, right? I know very little about my dad's parents, but I know who they both are. I know a lot about my grandma to an extent, but not about my granddad. And why wouldn't my mom even know about her grandparents? And but my dad's parents, both of their sets of parents were still alive for a while. Oh, there's a connection, y'all, man. It's something to do with military. My Uncle Danny went in the military. He was 17. I'm not sure, like, the extent of... I was told he was shot in the fucking leg. I never seen no scar in his leg. Very fit, very... Always. Till this day. In the 70s. Very fit and very... To this day, very militant. I wouldn't say... I don't know. I don't know how to say it, but... Supposedly wasn't in the military, but... Was a fucking... Some kind of computer... He made, among other things, he made video. He made the circuit board for the inside of video games. And to know what I know now about video games, that was like mind control through the circuits, through the circuit board. The pictures that were displayed, you know, in the background, and how it moved through the thing. I don't know, maybe alright. Take what resonates, y'all. If it does resonate with y'all, y'all please hit that like button and subscribe and let me know how this is, how these things that I'm speaking about is related in your life, how it connects in your life. Because this is God's truth, I'm telling y'all. What my knowledge is of all those situations, and what little areas where the blanks were not filled in. Even when confronted about it, it's not so much as they're hiding something from you, maybe, is that they don't know. Look at that. They don't know. They don't know. How can they tell you something? Because they wasn't never told either. They probably sit around and question, or maybe they don't sit around and question it. Maybe they was erasured. They don't sit around and question it because they're just like, oh, we're just going to accept that. That's what they told us happened. Like, do y'all realize that there was a time, a great deal, a long ass period of time, that women just didn't question nothing. Never. They just didn't question it. That's a mass majority. They just did not question anything. If the men come together and come up with a solution or what have you, the women just did not question it at all. They would just go about their business. What? What kind of world was that? Like, what the fuck? Period. But then you had the one or two rebellious ones. I guess because they burned them motherfuckers at the stake if they questioned the men. And you know, I was noticing something. In all, 54, y'all. in all of the, in all of the animal species, what have you, the fucking female is the warrior. They're the fucking one does all the fucking work and cares the children and everything. And the male sits around, looks pretty, but they're stronger than the female. And that's why they get to dominate. They're physically stronger, even though they don't do none of the shit that the female does. If you ask me, the female's the stronger one. They was just built different. Because half the shit that the females have to deal with and have to go through, they don't. Men can't do it. I mean, they just can't. And then I was watching, I was watching this thing, right? 55, y'all. I was watching this thing, and I was, like, trying to see from another point of view, because I was watching this person, like, interact, okay, with this thing on YouTube. And I was thinking from my point, like, I was looking from my point of view, and then I was trying to think from their point of view. It was a man's point of view. The way that the men, this is kind of general, how they don't think like women. Like, they just don't. Okay? They really don't. In most cases, a man has it more simplified in his mind than a female ever thought about. Okay? And it just kind of triggered that thought process about it, okay? I don't know. We're just doing the mind of the oracle today, y'all. So y'all take what resonates, because men do not think like women. I would say it's a lot less complicated the way a man thinks on a general, okay? And like how women are more meticulous about detail to an extent than men, but men are more precise and accurate about the detail. Do you understand? You did. Well, congratulations. Look, we got something about hard work, productivity, routine, responsibility, slow and steady, financial growth, achievement, good investment. I don't know. I'm enjoying talking about all these thoughts, okay? Let go of this for now. I'm just saying, let go of it for now. They're asking you to just be like, if you allow yourself to just kind of flow, that these connections and things are going to start connecting. Okay, we're in that period of, I don't know if it's evolution, de-evolution. I mean, I'm not sure. Well, congratulations, man. What do you want? Congratulations, you defeated the god of war. There you go. It is on game. There you go. Congratulations. Thanks. What does that have anything to do with what we're talking about? It says something about a mystery. There's some kind of connections coming. Look, in these... Okay, these video games are some kind of software back in the day. When they come out, it was Atari. I don't know what provoked me to watch this neither. I watched this thing about all these fucking brand new in Japan, China, all these new robots, and how they're already running shit, and how they like make a cup of coffee to the perfection of like you could give it a photo and it would make your photo be in that cup of coffee. Crazy. To the detail. You can go in these like it's almost like fun parks and stuff. Don't got no people besides customers. All of it's like animated or fucking computer controlled. I don't know if I could enjoy myself. Even though you would think, you would say, I don't know if I could enjoy myself with people running those machines. To be honest with you. But I did. Because there was teenagers even running those machines. Irresponsible teenagers at that. Running those machines that have my life in their hands. On those fucking screen machines. And wowzer. I mean, and the people that put together... Look, I'm going to repeat. I do not recommend going to no fair or carnival and riding those rides. The people that put them things together, I went, keep in mind, y'all, I'm just saying, don't. I don't know. Maybe it's the thrill of, I don't know. There's so much going on, man. There's just so much going on. Look, that shit just kind of, I don't even care for it. Okay. I'll just take it out of there. Y'all can take what resonates there. However you feel about it. Okay. We got the King of Swords. I've seen the Empress with the 9 of Cups. Let's see. We got the King of Swords, the 9 of Cups, and the 6 of Wands with 10 of Cups. He's bringing something to the public eye. Some kind of judgment that he investigated. It says he was delayed on something because he was waiting on some type of... Had to wait on something overseas. But y'all remember when there was the strike where we couldn't get no kind of packages or no kind of information from overseas, and that thing was happening in the middle of the fucking ocean. That put a delay on something. And then the further time continued on, it caused this person to feel like less and less that you're gonna interchange with them. Okay? It says, look, they're being inspired to be fearless about something, feeling impulsive and unpredictable. Take that as it resonates, collective. Like, I don't even feel like doing this reading because I know exactly what it's about to say. The same exact fucking thing. So y'all take that as it resonates, okay? However y'all feel about it yesterday, feel about it different today, I suppose, okay? Because that's what's going on here. Energy's building up. There's nothing new under the sun today as far as that goes, okay? I just wanted to hit some topics with y'all that are very, 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 very drawing my intuitive attention to them. So y'all can take that as it resonates as well. There's a reason for it. It's happened all throughout my life. My intuitive attention went straight to a fucking beeper. It blew my mind. And I told my mom these beepers are going to turn into something else and people are going to stop fucking communicating. It's going to cause rage and anger. I was telling her this shit when I was like 8 years old. You understand? So when my intuitive mind something blares out at me, I have to go like investigate it, and then it starts connecting all this shit, like it connecting. The Rubik's Cube, the Cabbage Patch come out at the same time. Rubik's Cube is like, I'm not trying to say anything against the creator of Rubik's Cube because that's fine. A brain game, okay? But the cube represents satanic worship. There is a cube in every single religion represented, and there is a fucking cube in damn near every capital. Just a box. Just a plain black box. And then now that's downsized into, it's inside of our circuit board, this cube. And now these new games that are coming out, they look exactly like the motherfucker. Okay, why do you think a television is designed in a cube? Why do you think a phone's designed in a cube? Why ain't they circular or what have you? Okay, triangles even. Makes you wonder. How come that they invented a cord? When I was a kid, they had a cord invented that would allow you to take your old telephone receiver and pull it fucking to the extent of taking it outside and shutting the door, even going over here and sitting by the laundry room, what have you, okay? But they can't make like a charger receiver that don't like that don't fall apart or break or what have you, or come disconnected, or why ain't they curled and extended like that? Like, wasn't that a better idea than this? It just makes you wonder, are we regressing as a people or what? They're trying to act like that we're coming into this fantastic time of technology and that, but this shit all existed, and they're trying to make us think it didn't, so we're in awe of all this shit that's already been fucking created and already been existed, and they fucking somehow wiped it out, wiped our minds clean of it. How come we don't remember? How come nobody does? Except for that family of hidden figures. What is there, some kind of tree because they can't make it down here to Earth or something? That they work through this family and trade or something. I don't know. These kids have something to do with them creating these kids. Has something to do with them. It's like these children were put on display like a pig would be in a grocery store. But they were full, whole children. What did they do with the children that didn't make it out of the incubators? How many kids back in that day said that the stork brought them, that they was come from a cabbage patch? That was the story. That was what was told, and this shit was actual real. This shit was all over motherfucking postcards, and especially in France. France was rampant with that shit. Madam X, that's where she come from. Y'all go look up that shit. Erica Kirk, her connection to Madam X, and how it all. I'm just amazed at that, because I can see that very first movie. I can see it in my mind's eye because I've seen it. I've seen bits of it. Okay, pieces of it. Okay, I can see it in my mind's eye. How it is. God, it almost looks like what you would think that box that Pope made, that priest made, that goes back and looks at a time, like it goes back and looks at like a day in history, and that movie makes me think of that. It makes me think of that, like it's a recording of that little pictometer, whatever the fuck that thing is called in the Vatican that priest made. Makes me think of that. Okay. Go look at that movie. It'll blow your mind, man. And she's made like 3 of them right there off the hip. Right off the hip. I want to say them were made in the 30s, 36. I don't know. And the more and more I see things. Okay, I see things, but I'm not. Okay. Like, I look at these old movies, and then I look at the new movies, and then I look at, like, displays of stuff, like, what is being injected into my eyes and my ears, okay? I look at it. Do you understand? God. I'm from God. That's my head. That's my leader. The one that created me. Okay. Anyway, if you're wondering, anyway, I look at it in different in a way I can't even describe. I can't even describe it. And other people look at it that way too, because I can see it throughout, like, people's creative processes and stuff, like on YouTube and things like that, that they look at things that way too for some reason. And I can't, it's like hard for me to fathom how other people don't, but I don't judge them for not. I just don't. It's like when someone looks at you for saying something about how you feel about a certain situation or whatever, about a topic or whatever, and they're looking at you like you're just totally insane. You're thinking in your head like how could you not even like fathom it? Like you're just totally, there's no way, da 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 da. Like how can that be their process? That there's no way on possible earth that could be even a lot of signs.
Hello, Moto.
What? Hold on, y'all. And they pop down here. Okay. And how come everybody's being triggered to see all this stuff? Just plain sight, just blam. How come everybody's being triggered all of a sudden to see all this stuff? They wasn't. I remember walking around being all like, I could see it and stuff like that, but nobody else was talking about it. Nobody else was even acknowledging it. And you would say something about it, and they would say, you're crazy. Like, it's always been that way. No, it hasn't. It wasn't that way. And stuff like that. You'd be like, no, it wasn't that way. Just things were different. Just even natural things, or just natural things were different. Seasons and these are the signs, okay? Of course. You read your Bible, it's going to say these are the signs, but like how did it just occur and to be that over gradually? Or did it just happen suddenly and we just didn't see it? Happened in 2012. There was a reset that we didn't see. It happened through the CERN machine. There was a reset that we didn't see. Like we forgot, made us forget. It was a massive erasure machine. Because it's all about frequency. Understand that. CERN is put on the very spot on Earth that will pulse out to every single ends of the Earth, because we're on a dome. And CERN is placed where when it's turned on, its frequency and its pulses out to every spot on Earth, all the way, and that's what's shaking the ice up in Antarctica, because they keep turning that damn thing on purpose to shake up the ice, because there's something that they found that's asleep that when unfrozen will come back to life. That's been a known fact, that these bacteria and these things, anomalies or whatever, are, when they get unfrozen, they're still alive. So they're shaking the earth like a piggy bank, trying to make something come out of it. Because there's a hole, there's a black rock in the very center. That was the tree. But why specifically were the angels cutting the trees down? Did God tell them to cut the trees down? Because that's what caused the flood, when the trees got cut down. Because the trees are full of water. Okay? Because everything's connected, y'all. Understand that. The trees outside are full of water. They got a like a stomach area up their trunk that's full of water. And some of them will get extremely full of water. And if you tap into it, it'll just flow out all the time for a long time anyway, until that tree probably dies, I guess. I don't know. Depending on how strong the roots are and how the roots suck up that water. But that trunk is there to hold that water and contain that water inside of it. So the top can grow and do its thing and produce whatever seeds it may need to produce, and so on. Keep it strong. But its foundation pretty much is based on base of water. All that on the bottom, the roots are all full of water. Like they're holding water. Ain't that cool to think about that? All them tiny little roots, they all hold water, and it kind of sifts up into and sits and disperses out into the full tree, but it contains itself in a specificated area that it doesn't rot the tree or what have you. Sometimes it rots it when that water isn't released out of it. But there we go, y'all. I'm just saying, okay? How it all connects. It's just amazing. And I mean, I've talked an hour and a half about it almost, and there's still so much more to talk about, you know, when it comes to these things. There's something major triggering, major about the reset, that not the 2012 one, but the one back in the 20s. Why did they need the gold to put it on the Capitol? Why did they need the gold to put it on the Capitol? They did. Because the Capitol, that's an antenna. Antenna for what? What was they waiting on the aliens to come? To give them some type of advice about the Depression or whatever was going on with the Depression and all these buildings being under fucking mud? Already pre-existing under mud. And then there it was. Bam, they're all there. What is this? Oh, this is the top of a building. Wait, let's dig it up. Wait, there's a whole fucking civilization right here under this mud. What? This looks like ancient Rome. Why? Why does America look like ancient Rome? Underneath the mud. Anyway, y'all, take it as it resonates. And who the fuck got to name these eras and times? And who named them? Who got to tell us that was the Victorian age and that was the Renaissance age? And that, I mean, who got to name it? That age went from this to this, and then all of a sudden it was... I'm just saying, okay? And I'm going to say this, the 1980s was unlike any other time. Any other time. There was no other time like the 1980s in this whole scenario. From maybe like back in even, maybe the 1880s. Maybe the 1880s was like the 1980s. Maybe they were similar to each other. As far as new fashions and outstanding, outrageous fucking shit, outrageous outfits, doing outrageous shit, dancing outrageously, like break dancing in the streets. They did that kind of shit down in the 1880s. And how come people don't stand on the corners and doo-wop anymore? Now, the closest thing that I've seen to that is that dude that walks around with that synthesizer and the keyboard and has a microphone, and those people rock the fuck out. Like, walking through, I guess they're in New York, and he's playing the shit out of it, and they're fucking jamming. That's the closest I've seen to doo-wopping. But doo-wopping used to be how people of the community would come together with their talents and shine. They would stand on street corners and stuff like that. It actually came from bums. Bums would stand around like fires and stuff, and sing church hymns and stuff, and train riding hymns and stuff like that around the fires. That's where the doo-wop and stuff come from, because they found harmony, you know, in doing that, and they took it, made quartets and shit out of it. How come that shit don't fucking go on no more? Like, I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, when did that just stop? Like, all of a sudden, all these people just decided to just, okay, that's not a thing no more. That's weird. Why are y'all doing that? I mean, they only did it for years upon years upon years. But then all of a sudden, it wasn't. That shit would still be fucking so entertaining to me to just be walking down the street and see fucking, say, four fellas singing on the side of the street. You understand? That shit don't go on no more. It just don't. Y'all following what I'm saying? Like, what's happened? Did we forget the faces of our forefathers? I mean, did we truly forget the faces because we were mind erasered? How are we all, as a collective, these motherfuckers are sitting in CERN ready to turn that motherfucker on us and make us forget every fucking thing. How do we fight that? How do we protect our brains and our minds from them forcing on us? Say the chip or what have you. They're forcing all this shit on us. What the fuck? How can we stop that? How do we do that? Because we won't even fucking know what's happening, apparently, because apparently my parents didn't know what was happening to them, and their parents didn't know what was happening to them. I mean, to the point of only 2 generations ago was fucking Cabbage Patch children and orphan babies with very little knowledge of where they came from, like who birthed these kids. Little to no knowledge. In fact, as they had big world fairs that gave you the answers, showed you that they was making these babies inside of these fucking incubators. Somehow or another. Making them. Developing babies. Now I watched this woman the other day. She had the same thing as I'm saying. She might be watching me. I don't know. She might be watching me get that shit for me. I don't know. She was talking about how, like your phone, the TV, but now bodies are being created for these fucking entities to enter into. These bodies are almost identical to a human body, to the point that they got all these wires, which are veins, that cause liquid to flow through them and cause, stuff to pump, a heart or a battery or what have you. They have optical sensors, every single thing to the point of being a human, even to the point of skin and hair. But they can't reproduce. But they can carry a baby. Did you see that? They can carry a baby. They can't reproduce. I don't know. That's very, very odd, though. Why would a whole race of beings want humans wiped out? What would be the purpose of even existing here without the humans? Really makes you question these things, y'all. I'm just questioning things today. I'm just really questioning things and trying to come up with some type of answer, some type of solution, something related. Because I'm allowing myself to be just open to whatever it is that is trying to show itself, reveal itself, because something is revealing itself to the masses, to a point of more people are awake today than ever before, except for I don't know if they was awake in 1919, or not even 1919. Yeah, 1919, because that all shit was erasured. These people could have had these massive brains. Look at the people of our time that was massive brains. Tesla, Einstein, Karl Marx, even Hitler was a massive genius. Like massive. Fucking, what's his name? What's his fucking name? Before he died, he said he believed in God after all. What is his fucking name? What is his name, y'all? Tell me his name. It's right on the tip of my tongue, man. I don't know. Do y'all realize that there was a period of time that these filmmakers were like delving into this? They were like geniuses. It's hard to even explain that, y'all, because I'm feeling it. What was that motherfucker's name before I fucking lose it? He talked about the God particle. Oh my God, what was his name? Stephen Hawking. Whew. Thank you. That shit would have drove me insane, boy. That shit would have drove me fucking wild today if I couldn't think of that. 10-10, y'all. Anyway, thought I'd give y'all a little bit of, I don't know, food for thought, and tell me how it resonates with your life, and how do you know your family history? There's a lot of blanks in it, as far as just the most recent of family history, up to your, we'll say, great-great-grandparents. That close. Do you even know that far as to your great-great-grandparents' names? Great-great-grandparents. Because listen to this now, I mean, in this generation right here that I'm in, my mom is a great grandparent that is also, because she adopted my niece. Okay, so she's alive in this generation together. Okay, you understand? With her great-great-grandchildren. But my great-greats, as far as I know, possibly on my nanny's side, her parents may have still been alive. But I don't know. But hell, I don't know. They come from some type of, I don't know. But her parents were alive. The Stevenses come from Masonic families. Y'all, it's just unreal. Y'all don't even know. These Masonic families have something to do with this DNA manipulation shit. If this is resonating, please say something and tell me. Does it resonate with your life? Because this is on a massive scale, more than just my life. I'm just saying, this is on a massive scale. Because it's too much relates to it for it not to be. And y'all go check out the things that I told y'all. Go check out the Gateway Program thing, the recording. The recording thing of the Gateway Program, that's George Bush Sr. When he was like in his 30s, talking. He had more of a monotone without that southern to it, as bad as George W. George W. had that Texas, but Bush Sr. didn't have that. His was more like a salesman. Because everybody was fucking salesmen back then. With all them new inventions they were coming out with, like vacuum cleaners and washing machines and dishwashers. And, I mean, it was just fucking rampant. All this fucking modern electronics and shit was just huge back then. And they would walk door to door and sell this shit. Knock on people's door. Have you seen a new fucking TV? God dang, here it is. Fucking let me wheel it in for you. Have you seen the new vacuum cleaner? This motherfucker's fucking massive. Walking from door to door selling that shit. New stoves. Refrigerator. Ice boxes. They went from ice boxes to refrigerators. Refrigerator freezers. Just all this happened in one, at one time. All of it. But yet history shows that there was stuff like that back in the day. Even flying things. I'll take what resonates. Somehow they was able to communicate across the world before telephones was created. There was message, there was ways to do it. And how, in Jesus' 33 years, was he able to travel all those distances, mostly on foot? How was that possible? But most of it was on foot. In that short little period of time, you got to take off 12 years because he didn't go nowhere in the first 12 years. He didn't go nowhere. And then there was a short little period of time where he disappeared in history. He came back. He got baptized. Like, where did he disappear all that time? Was he studying? Like, what would he be studying? Because God knows everything. I don't know. It's a questioning. I'm just questioning, y'all. Okay? Give me food for thought, okay? This is what goes on in the mind of JEANBEAN a lot of times, okay? Even when I'm doing shit. Like when I'm watching entertaining shit just to get my mind just right, you know? I'll be watching creative shit. People, how they create art, and it gives me tips and stuff, how they create food. It's wonderful to watch people create food because you'd never think, like, how people put shit together and how wonderful it turns out and stuff like that. And let me tell you this interesting thing that I found out today for no reason, okay? It's just something that I found out that stuck with me. It's in my brain. Pigeon people, they keep pigeons. You know, they keep pigeons like on their roofs and shit. When they get these pigeons, when they reach a certain age, they boil garlic, and they cut off a piece of garlic. I don't know, let's see, I don't know. A chunk of garlic. They cut off a chunk of, like a sliver of garlic. They open that pigeon's mouth, put it in this little contraption where its head's poking out, but their body can't move. They open that pigeon's mouth. Hey, shove that piece of garlic down in that pigeon's throat, and that is well care, or that is ensures care and wellness for that pigeon for life. That's something I found out today. Isn't that crazy? That they shove a piece of garlic down a pigeon's throat to ensure its well care for life, for its entirety of its life. But you know, I know that garlic has a element in it that wards off bacteria and fungus and inflammation and all that stuff. Okay, so that could be something to that. Okay, y'all just take what resonates. Okay, I'm just trying to tell y'all some stuff. Okay, trying to get some information out there that I'm sure others have questions and answers to, even maybe. Okay, because just I don't know. I was really, really triggered about it. About especially with the Cabbage Patch thing and the Madam X and the Erica Kirk thing and being her name and her whatever her connection to the another name of all of it being involved in children all the way through history, all the fucking way through. She's got to be some type of placed entity. I'm just saying, y'all, just go check it out. Y'all go check these things out. Please take the time to inform yourself about these things because there's got to be some type of answer to that. It's just too unreal. And she don't even try to disguise who she is. What is in her name, Erica Kirk? What is it that's in... Because she continued that name even. Another thing triggering. This is triggering for me. I was married to a man. Okay, I met this man that we fell in instant love or what have you. Our relationship was going along. Then I wanted them. Somehow we met our parents, okay? And my last name was really, really fucking with his mom, okay? And then it wound up that we found out that our dads were best friends growing up. I didn't know my dad, but he grew up around my dad. I suppose a dad. All of my life. All of his life. Okay? And he grew up all around all these people that I recall from being a little small child. Okay? This is just strange stuff. It's all just so strange. How closely connected. Because at one point, I was questioning whether or not we were related because we looked so similar to one another. Me and him. It was so crazy. But we didn't know none of that till after we was married. It was crazy. So fucking crazy. How coincidental that I'm going to end up my first husband marrying my first husband that was that so closely that his dad was best friends with my real dad and that both of our moms have the same names. It's just so odd how all of that's so fucking coincidental, man. And he was even denied to get to carry his dad's name. Like, he played football. He had to wear his stepdad's name on his jersey. Because his real dad... It's just so fucking fucked up. His real dad was denying that he was his kid, but not the sister looked identical to him. It's so fucking crazy. But he had it. That was on his birth certificate. The real dad. It's just because he thought that my dad was his real dad. How? Y'all, these things that I tell y'all, there's no fucking way that I could make any of that up. This is all the truth. My first husband was also had the same birthday as my grandma. This is just, I don't know, all these birthdays just lay right on top of each other. It's just so fucking crazy. My baby's dad's birthday is the day before my sister's. And all the women in his birthday, in his family's name, their middle name was Jean. Even sisters and everything. That's odd. That's just odd. It's just odd. My first husband, we went to visit his family, his uncle. And his uncle had a picture on the wall of his passed away aunt. And his passed away aunt looked identical to me. Identical. I'm talking about, she had a beehive though, but she looked identical to me. She was sitting there smiling like a yearbook photo of a senior photo. You know how they did back in the day, but had like the white around. There was like a like a black background, but had like a white. I can't describe it. It had like a brownish kind of faded color background. But she was sitting like that, and she was smiling, identical to me with Beehive. Looked just like me, exactly. I'm talking about to the T, to my nose and everything. Everything. She looked identical to me. The thin little lips, everything. And this was my husband's uncle's wife. It was his dad's brother's wife. His dad's blood brother's wife looked identical to me. It was so fucking surreal. Surreal as hell, y'all. It's so crazy. Y'all have no idea the craziness, the crazy connections. It's just so weird. I just don't get it. It's got to make sense somewhere along the line. Somewhere along the line, something's got to connect and make sense, because none of that does. There's too many open spaces and blank spaces that have not been filled, and I don't know where to get the answers. I've asked and asked. Nobody, they don't know. They don't know because they never asked. They just accepted. So nobody knows. Possibly my uncle knows. He's so secretive and like he's fucking CIA or something. I don't understand him. He's so secretive, y'all. It's unreal. It's unfucking real. This computer software genius that became a genius after he got shot in the leg in the Vietnam and got to come home, became this computer software genius. There's just something, just it's too much of a blank space, man. It's too much blank space, y'all. Y'all take this whole live however you want to. Asking the questions that need to be asked. If it resonates with you, if you've experienced any of these types of things that have these big blank areas in your history or any of that. Why was I pulled out of my regular classes to go be in this other classroom for like an hour with these other kids that was pulled out of their regular classes at young ages, and then later on pulled out of these classes to go take these fucking fill in the fucking dot test. Now, when I first got pulled out, when I was in first grade and stuff like that, they was pull you out for, I don't know, guess they'd call it reading time or whatever the fuck, and then they would put these fucking things on your head and make you listen to this man talk while you looked at these fucking shapes of what looked like mandalas. Does anybody else relate to any of that? They're like colorful little mandalas, and you look at these shapes and shit while you listen to this shit on your fucking head. It's supposed to be reading time. We made quilts and shit at reading time. It's just really hard to explain it if you never experienced or if it didn't happen to you. It's really hard to explain it. I had some type of ability that I could read the lines before I could get to it with my eyes. Like I was reading the sentence that was ahead of myself. When I was reading out loud, I was reading this sentence out loud, but I was already read the sentence that was after it. It caused me to like skip to the bottom of that sentence. They were correcting that. Whatever you call that. Because I could read a book real fast to myself reading it out loud, I would stammer because I was reading the partial of this sentence and partial of that because I'd done read the whole fucking sentence to myself. It was correcting that somehow. I know our reading class, we didn't do hardly no reading in it. Never. I remember cards with stars on them for some reason. I don't remember very little fucking, very, very, very little fucking reading in there. We set it to like miniature tables that were even seemed smaller than us being 6 and 7. Okay? They seemed like tables for toddlers. But we were 6 and 7. Little miniature table and little miniature chair things. All over the fucking room they had like puppets and crafts and little areas that you go to and you sit and watch a fucking screen with headphones on. We played with where you sit in a circle and shake the parachute. We played popcorn with that. You put a ball on that. We did this in this reading time that my kids that I was in class with, in regular class with, wasn't in there. These were kids that was pulled out of this class and that class and this class and that class and me put in there. 12 to 15 of us to do these fucking activities. I can remember there was like on the floor, it seemed like there was a hopscotch tape, hopscotch on the floor in this little room. But this little room seemed very activity. It was very stimulating. There was lots of colors. But we only spent like an hour in there, sometimes 2 hours. And then we'd go back to our regular class with our regular kids, whatever they was doing, making fucking macaroni necklaces or whatever. But it almost didn't even seem like it cut into our time with what was being taught in the classroom. Like it didn't seem like it cut into that time. Almost like time didn't exist while we was in the reading class. That's extremely hard to explain. It's almost like they picked us because of the way we colored. Like how we colored in the lines. I can't even, I feel like I was picked and placed into it. Have you been watched and been monitored and followed all of your entirety of your life collective? Have all of us? Has everybody? Or is it just a specific people? Specific DNA? And why is your DNA different than possibly your other family members? To a point that it's noticeable. That you have all these abilities and none of them seem to have them. Okay, well anyway, y'all, I guess I don't know. Nobody's talking, so I'm just saying. Usually y'all carrying the fuck on when I'm doing the reading, so, I mean, if it resonates with y'all, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Because there's a reason why this is such a... Why was I so interested and drawn into all this stuff way prior, I'm talking about extremely way prior to it becoming mainstream. And then how did it become mainstream all of a sudden? Because I was triggered by all these things when I was young, y'all. And I talked about them and continued to talk about them persistently throughout time. And everybody that knows me knows that I did. And they keep, it's almost like they keep their distance because of it. Because sometimes I'll just be like, out of nowhere, somebody start talking to me, hey, how you doing today? Oh, you know how they do this right here? With it? Have you ever heard of the Cabbage Patch Dolls or whatever? I start talking about it. Because that's how my mind be fucking, I'll be on it, okay? Thinking about it. Or I might come up like, oh yeah, like somebody might say something, I'll be like, oh yeah, Nikola Tesla did that. They start telling them all about fucking Nikola Tesla. Or tell them about Leonardo da Vinci, how he went into a motherfucking cave for 3 years. Just disappeared into oblivion. Came back out of that same fucking cave, had all this fucking massive knowledge. That's a true story, y'all. Go look it up. I start telling people shit like that. Because my mind be thinking about it. I want to know if other people's minds be thinking about it too. Because we are collective. I mean, we are collective. All this stuff. That's just so wild. What makes you feel safety? What makes you feel free? Living in a box, in a box, in a box, in a box, in a box don't make me feel free or safety. I was just saying. We live in these square boxes. There's no curvature, nothing natural about it. This ain't natural to live in these square boxes. We look at them every day. Look. Our eyes are... I don't know exactly what I'm trying to say there, but y'all get it. I mean, we are collective. Y'all should get it. Right? Just saying. I apologize for not doing the... It's already in 2 hours. I may just turn this thing off and try to get back and then come back to a reading. Okay? Because, I don't know. I just been really thinking about my fucking... my DNA, man. That shit fucking blows my mind how there's just a big fucking question mark when it comes to my granddad on my mom's side. And you can't get no further than that because there's no name of a parent of either of his parents. Nothing. I don't know my grandma's parents' names. I know my grandma's full name. I know my grandpa's full name. But I don't know neither one of their grandparents or their parents' full name. You know, it just struck me that there is a great grandma in my generation that's here. My nanny would be my grandchildren's great grandma. So she's still alive. She's the only one that's still alive of the greats of my generation. But she's sick. She's Masonic. She's one of them carried up secret motherfuckers. Whoo-wee. It hates me. I don't know, I guess because I ask questions. I don't fucking know why. I don't exactly know why. That is. Maybe I'll never know. Maybe that'll be something that will never get answered. Why she hates me so fucking bad. I don't know. Maybe all the answers will come flooding in at one time when you receive this big inheritance or whatever the hell you're going to receive. It says, just roll with it, flipped over. This says, holding back. That says, just roll with it. Now tell me how many times. Look, the only few cards that I pulled out said, holding back. Got flipped over. Just go smoke you a blunt. I'm telling you, it's telling you just go smoke you a blunt. And let yourself be totally unproductive. It says promises. It says old promises. I'm sorry. That is just, okay. No plan. Storms cleanse everything. Gone away, the offspring. That's all the cards that are laying out here. Just roll with it. No plan. Old promises. Storm cleanses everything. Gone away, the offspring, and holding back. I'm telling you, it says, bless all your food and drink and everything you ingest behind the holding back. But this is the message. Storms cleanse everything. Y'all know this song, right? Old promises. No plan. Joey, Joseph. Affirmations. Invite Yahshua, Jesus, to walk and talk with you. So a Joey is a baby kangaroo, mama's boy. So your dad was a mama's boy? Look at there, it says hit man, hit woman. What? Under Joe or Joseph. Drug addict. He changed his fate. This person couldn't do it. I'm telling you, hold him back. They couldn't do it. You changed somebody's fate. This mama's boy, shopkeeper, business owner. The King of Pentacles. He went to get a this man was paid or something to overdose you. Most likely by Jessica. All about the Benjamins. Somebody's seeing something clearly. That something was about the Benjamins. Something was all about the money. Even their relationships. It says Alpha. Some kind of... It says Matthew. Old promises. Corrected. Not prepared. Crying. Matthew is crying. Earth sign. What about the earth sign? Interconnectedness. Somebody's feeling somebody's strain. Actions of the alpha. Holding back. Box trolls. Somebody's surrounded by a bunch of people that they can't expose this to. They're keeping secrets. To be continued, y'all. Do your affirmations, masculine. It says something about a car, truck, motorcycle, some type of transportation. Something going to move quickly. This masculine is going to move quickly. It's warrior and up. So they're telling you to wait on divine to be continued. 1 John 4:4, the one who is within you is greater than the one of the world. Relief. Buck. Rebuild. Christy, Christ, Christina, Tina, 7. Something about 7 sisters. Take that as it resonates. Because that's a a constellation, ain't it? The seven sisters of the stars of the universe. Take that as it resonates, y'all. I'm gonna go ahead and go. It's 2 hours in, and I just barely started doing a fucking reading, so I'm gonna go ahead and go and come back and do an actual reading. Okay. This has been a blast, and look, don't hesitate to tell in the comments your experience with these subjects, these topics that I'm speaking about, and your thought process about them. Because I mean, I know that if y'all been watching me, y'all already know about a lot of these things these topics that I'm touching on, because I speak about them. So I know that somewhere along the line, y'all probably done a little bit of research that is pertaining to them, okay? Because I urge y'all to do your own research. I urge y'all not even take my word for, everything. I urge you to do your own research, okay? Do your own research, and possibly you might find something that even I don't have no, clue about or what have you. Do your own research about it. And use your discernment and Holy Spirit to give you the right answers, okay? I urge you to, though. There is a big something another to do with DNA. The letters keep on showing it. In fact, it says 10:44 right now on the 1:44. All right, that's what I'm going to do, y'all. I'm going to close out this 2-hour reading, or 2-hour live right here, and I'm going to come back with a regular reading, okay? I might just use these, okay? It's just, there was just a lot of thought that there was, y'all, when I watch, do my research and stuff, or I see something that is very triggering, I want to record it and show it immediately to y'all, okay? I do. And a lot of times I can't, I don't have the time to do, sit down and put it together. All I have is this phone. I don't have a computer or anything like that. So, but there's a lot of things that I would, I don't know, maybe I might start another channel that hits on these topics if I can figure out how to do the green screen with the connection of the videos that I come across. We'll see. What? What's it? What? I said my name and it said anointment. Anointment. On that. It come down and said my name and said anointment. Y'all take that wherever way you want to too, okay? Let's read out the Bible real quick before we close this live, and then I'll come back and do a reading. So y'all stay tuned and watch me. I'll come right back. I'm gonna do the details on this live, and then I'll come back with a live reading, okay? So y'all come back, okay? It says, greatness is serving. Then the mother of Zebedee's son came to him with her sons, kneeling down and asking something from him. And he said to her, what do you wish? She said to him, grant that these 2 sons of mine may sit, one on your right hand and the other on your left, in your kingdom. But Jesus answered and said, you do not know what you ask. Are you able to drink the cup that I'm about to drink, and be baptized with the baptism that I'm about to baptize with? They said to him, we are able. So he said to them, you will indeed drink my cup, and be baptized with the baptism that I am baptized with. But to sit at my right hand and my left is not mine to give, but it is for those for whom it is prepared by my Father, predestined already, okay? That he can't even say that God has already said who sits on his left and right side of Jesus, okay? It says, and when the 10 heard it, they were greatly displeased with the 2 brothers when the disciples heard this. But Jesus called them to himself and said, you know that the rulers of the Gentile lords it over them, and those who are great exercise authority over them. Yet it shall not be so among you. But whoever desires to become great among you, let him be your servant. And whoever desires to be first among you, let him be your slave. just as the Son of Man did not come to be served, but to serve, and to give his life as ransom for many. Amen. Be a server. That's been a message for a while now. So do your part as far as serving and service to others could be just giving them some kind of knowledge, or even just say you look great today, or tell them a joke. Any of that, okay? It doesn't cost anything. Please get that out of your mind. It doesn't always cost you anything to be of service to others, and it makes you feel pretty good at the same time. There's an instant reward in being of service to others, okay? And that could come in all types of shapes and forms, and I mean, as little as to give the person behind you in line $1. Okay, that's being a service to others. It's something that it might make their day. That you don't ever know. Okay, so there's the message right there, and y'all take all this stuff that I said and let it resonate with you, and tell me your experiences with your thoughts on it, and that. Okay, like that, love everybody. If it does resonate with you, hit the like button, subscribe. If you want to donate, it's Cash App $sign ANGELMOON 6237. And right now I have super chat stickers, but as far as the rest of it, I don't know. They won't. I'm not receiving any kind of feedback from the creator things on there. Anyway, y'all. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay, with reading. Like, love, everybody. See you on the flip side.